Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Motorsport Diaries. I'm so happy to have you here today, and we are going to be talking about women in motorsport. Make sure to grab a cup of tea or coffee and a snack, and let's get into it. So, where do I even begin? I think I kind of want to preface by saying this isn't a generalization, I guess. I know that there are some crazy fans in the F1 community, in the motorsport community. We've all seen them. We all know the POV accounts on TikTok, and there's a lot of people who take things very far. I mean, there's probably men who take it very far. I know the Italian tifosi are insane. The Tifosi go crazy for Charles Leclerc, we know. But today we're going to be talking just about women in motorsport and I mean the perception that they get and kind of how hard it is to be a female fan in the motorsport community. And I think that kind of goes for a lot of other sports. I think it's hard to be a female in sports in general. And I think that kind of just goes into the fact that growing up, girls aren't as exposed to sports as guys are, like boys, and I think a lot of culture and a lot of parents just don't show girls sports as much as they do guys and, young boys. And I think like you kind of look at a lot of cultures, I mean, where it's like dads will play football with their sons and they'll play baseball with their sons, but they don't really think to do it with the daughters. And I think that goes with a lot of sports. And that's kind of, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to touch on that in this video, but I think when it comes to women in motorsport and women who are actually in the sport itself and female racing drivers, I think a big reason as to like why there's not as many in the sport is just because there's like not enough exposure and there's not enough parents and there's not enough of a societal like standard that it's okay for women to be racing, if that makes sense. And I think that girls just aren't exposed in the same way as boys are. And it's messed up. And I think that it's slowly changing and I'm so happy about it. But I think that's kind of the root of the issue. And I've seen a lot of people when they talk about oh, how long until we're gonna have a girl in F1? How long until we're gonna have like the progression of women in motorsport? And I think they're not looking at like the root cause of the issue. And that's why I love F1 Academy because I think they're doing such amazing things. And it's funny because a lot of people don't know a lot about F1 Academy. And I think there's kind of some like misinformation where people just think it's like a racing series, which it is. And there's a lot more to it though. I kind of did an article about it for an organization I was working with. So I looked into it a lot. And something amazing that F1 Academy does is that at every single location that they have races at, they'll set up like these pop up events and activities and like activations for young girls to get interested in motorsport. And I think that's the most amazing thing ever because I think honestly the root issue is that it's like not enough exposure. Like you can't, and that's the thing, it's like you can't have a woman in F1 if there's no women to be in F1, you know? And I think it's not necessarily it's not that it's a talent thing at all because I think women are like they have the same potential as men when it comes to like talent and drive. But in the sense that it is a talent thing where it's like there's such little talent because there's not enough women. You can't have talent in women if there's no women to have talent. I hope that makes sense. I hope that made sense. But that's why I really like F1 Academy because I think they're doing something so amazing. And yeah, I don't know why I started with that. That was so deep for no fucking, like, that was deep for no reason. I'm so sorry. That was not the vibe. Anyways, moving on, we're going to be talking about fans. I wanted to touch on fans. So I don't really know why I talked about like actual drivers. I wanted to make that a different episode, but I guess sneak peek. We're going to be talking about fans and being a female fan because it's fucking hard. It is so hard. And I think men just don't understand. And I know a lot of men are like, and this is not to hate on men. This is not a hatred towards men. It's not all men because I've gotten so many kind DMs and messages from guys who wanted to just talk to me about F1 and it's like so nice. But a lot of guys are like little pricks about it and it's almost like if a girl knows more about F1 than them or like if a girl likes motorsport, it almost like hurts their ego. Like it's so weird. And I don't know. I can't. I've gotten some comments and it really ticks me off where it's like, men don't understand the concept that you can like this sport and you can like motorsport, but you could also like the drivers' personalities. You can also like to comment on how the drivers are dressing or what they're wearing in the paddock or like what they say in videos. Oh my God, crazy, right? Like And you know what's so funny is that I think it's a lot of the older generational fans, and they're almost like not getting with the times, you know? Because, yeah, like when they were watching F1, when it was like the Kimmy era and like prime Seb era, Mark Webber, there weren't like the same amount of things on social media. Like social media didn't exist. You didn't see that exposure on social media. The drivers weren't doing all these challenges, like, you know? So yeah, of course it's not the same. But you can't just go and like shit on all these girls for like commenting on things that the teams are putting out. Like what? And I think it's funny cuz you don't no, it's really funny to me. It's funny to me because the teams themselves are putting out this content. How can you hate on girls and women fans who are commenting on the drivers' looks when the teams are literally using it as their marketing strategy? Hello. Have you not seen Ferrari's marketing strategy? Let me break it down for you. Ferrari's strategy for social media is literally thirst traps. It survives off of thirst traps. After Ferrari has a shit race and they fuck up their strategy and they do absolute dog shit, that you are going to see the sexiest photo of Charles Leclerc on Instagram later that day. You already know it. You're going to see their bathtub photo, a shirtless photo, a zoomed in photo. You know you're going to see it. We all know this at this point. But I feel like now, especially Ferrari, I mean, McLaren, I guess, kind of does it. Red Bull doesn't really do it. I think the teams are starting to kind of play into that kind of like, oh, the drivers are attractive because they are. And I'm going to flat out say it. Crazy news. The F1 drivers are attractive. Have you seen Charles Leclerc? Get the hell out if you can't look at that man and say, like, oh no, he's unattractive. My brother, who is literally like, he's a straight man, he was looking at a photo of Charles Leclerc and he's like, yeah, he's hot as fuck. He's hot. He's good looking. Like, it doesn't take an Einstein to see that. And I think, like, I don't understand why they can't coincide. You can be insanely knowledgeable on the sport, and also, you don't have to be insanely knowledgeable. That's the other thing. You don't got to know anything. Just the fact that you're interested in the sport, you're allowed to be interested in the sport and also be like, oh, yeah, they're hot. Duh. Like, why can you not coincide? I don't really get that. And the other thing that I can't really understand is a fan is a fan, and they're just more fans. It's like it's a good thing we're having more fans, and I don't know why men are like upset that there's more fans in F1, and like I don't understand their standard. I think a lot of men have this standard for like F1 fans, and it's like who died and made them king of F1, and kind of like they get to choose who's a real fan and who's not a real fan. I posted a video talking about Charles's outfit that he posted on Instagram with the shitty drawstring pants. It was disgusting. No shade to him though. He's so cute. Love him. But like the pants, they were fugly. They were disgusting. And I was commenting on it. And I got a comment and someone was like, "Well, they're F1 drivers, not fashion models." And then like someone replied to that person, and then the person that commented that like replied to them and was like, "Yeah, but that's the annoying thing about like only real fans care about the racing, not the fashion or like whatever." What? Like what? Who gets to decide who's a real fan, who's not a real fan? It makes no sense to me. And what's funny? Most of it is targeted towards women. Like when people decide who's a real fan, who's a fake fan, it's mostly targeted towards women because yeah. And it kind of just annoys me. I don't know. That whole thing just pisses me off. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about is being a female fan, being a girl who's interested in motorsport and feeling it like you have to constantly almost make up for things and you almost have to know everything. Like, I feel like that's something a lot of men won't understand. Maybe they do understand. I don't know. And maybe men feel like this also because I don't want to like say that they don't feel like this because maybe they do. But I know from a girl's perspective, you constantly feel like you have to know every single fact, every single thing about motorsport, about F1, or people are going to think you're not a real fan. I remember when I first got into the sport, I tried to learn as much as I could. And a lot of it was because I was so interested. Obviously, I love motorsport and like it's such a passion of mine. So I wanted to know about it. But it almost felt like there was like something deep inside of me, like in the back of my head, it felt like I was trying to make up for the fact that I was a girl. It was like I was trying to make up like cuz I felt like I couldn't tell people I liked F1 before I knew everything. I couldn't tell people I liked F1 before I knew that I knew enough to talk about it. Because if I were to just say, "Oh yeah, I like F1," people would be like, "Oh, I don't know, I didn't want people to." And another thing, I think that's honestly just like internal misogyny or I don't want to say that. I don't know if that's the right word. But almost like that kind of, you feel like you're almost scared, which is so dumb and it's annoying. And I don't like that I think like this, but sometimes I do think like this. And I'm going to be honest that sometimes I'm scared that when I'm talking to a guy, that when I say, oh, I like F1, I like motorsport, they think it's almost like I don't actually like it. I'm just trying to be a pick me girl. Because I think in today's day and age, a girl gets called a pick me for literally everything. You like baseball, you like sports. Oh, you're a pick me. You want to play football, you're a pick me. I don't know. You could breathe and you're a pick me. It's so stupid, but deep down, I think sometimes I am scared. And it is a fear that I have, that it's like I feel like I'm not taken seriously for my interest and my passion, and it sucks. And I think another thing that really sucks is like I'm always doubting myself in terms of like posting on TikTok. It feels like I can't talk about a photo that Charles Leclerc posted to his public Instagram and kind of like talk about his outfits, talk about his personality. It feels like I can't talk about it because I'm almost scared that people are going to be like, well, you're a fake fan. It's just stupid. And I mean, I'm kind of slowly getting over that fear, but I know that's something that a lot of women probably relate to and a lot of girls relate to. And it's not fair. And it's not fair that like young girls are interested in the sport, and there's so many young girls who are becoming interested in the sport, and I've seen it like with my own eyes. I've helped it happen. I've tried to help so hard for women and girls, like 15, 13-year-old girls, to be interested in motorsport, you know and I've just seen men trash them. I've seen them get trashed, and it's not fair. Like, they're so young, and how can you expect to inspire the next generation of women in motorsport? And how can you expect to do this when like they just get crapped on? It's not fair. And it sucks. It does. Now, on the other hand, though, I will say, because I'm not going to talk out of my ass, and I don't want to be a victim. That's the thing. I'm not saying this to be a victim. I'm not trying to victimize myself and say, like, oh my God, my life is so hard. Being a girl is so hard in motorsport. Like, men don't understand. I'm not trying to, like, be a victim, but I'm just trying to kind of, like, bring awareness to what it feels like to be a girl in motorsport, and kind of have this, like, underlying fear of not being able to fit into the motorsport community, and feeling like you're not being taken seriously. And like, that's the worst thing. That's the worst thing as a girl in life, honestly, but in sports in particular, and in motorsport, to feel like you're not being taken seriously because you're a girl, and because you find the drivers attractive, or because I don't know, because you don't know who won the fucking world championship in 1967. Like, girl, I don't know. I don't know. And you probably don't know either. Like, it's just like, I think the thing that also sucks is I feel like it's hard for girls to get into motorsport, not because it's not accessible, because now it is in terms of being a fan, especially in the US. Like, it's become so popularized, and there's so many new fans, but it's hard for girls to feel accepted and get further into the motorsport community, because as a girl, like I said, you feel like you have to know everything from the get go. You feel like if you don't know things, you're almost scared to ask questions. I've seen so many girls who literally have told me, like, oh, I'm so happy for you because I always felt like I was so scared to ask questions. And people were gonna like hate on me. Because I've seen so many people ask valid questions. Like, when you're getting into the sport and you don't know something, obviously you're gonna have questions. And I've seen a lot of girls ask questions and people just hate on them for it. Like, you didn't know everything either, Billy, when you got into the sport. You didn't wake up out of your mom's vagina and know everything about F1. Come on. I can't. It's just like, it pisses me off. Whatever. I think we should just be more accepting towards all fans and just help people. It's not that hard, Like, you just help fans. Don't hate on them. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, I do want to touch on the fact that I do know that there are some crazy fans. And I think it's not fair, because I think a lot of the times the crazy fans, and I will say, and this isn't me being stereotypical or trying to hate on girls, because I was just not doing that. But I will say a lot of the pages who do like the POV accounts or the WAG accounts, the pages that take it too far, a lot of them are girls. That doesn't mean that like girls are like, but a lot of those pages are girls. And I think it almost gives a bad rep in that sense. And it's not fair though, because it's like, that's not everybody at all. And if anything, those are like 13-year-olds who don't know better, and like that's not their fault. Maybe it is. I don't know. But I think that there are some crazy fans, and every sport has crazy fans. And there are some people that take it too far, but I don't think it should ruin it for everybody else. And not all fans are like that. Not all girl fans are like that. You know, it's a very small majority, like it's a very small amount of fans that are like that. And I will say another point, and I don't necessarily, I don't want to say that this makes someone a fake fan because I don't think it does. And who am I to just like, who am I to decide what is a fan? And I don't think anybody can decide, oh, you're a fake fan. You're not, like, there's a, who the fuck cares? Like, I don't care if you, and that's the thing, like, I don't care if you only watch F1 because you think the drivers are hot. Because I'm gonna flat out say it. There are girls who do that. And I'm not, and that's the thing, I'm not hating on them. I'm just saying. There are definitely girls. I've talked to girls who are like that, who they genuinely are interested in the sport, or not even really interested in the sport, but like they're more interested in the drivers, they're more interested in the drivers' personalities. They watch maybe occasionally, I don't know, but they like the driver part. They like the personality part. And like if that's what you want to do, that's fine. And who am I to hate on you? I'm not going to tell you if you're that doesn't make you a fake fan. I don't who am I to decide who's a fan or not. But I will say that those people do exist. So I don't want to like generalize cuz I know that those people do exist. But yeah, it's not a bad thing. They just do exist. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that. And like, don't cancel me for saying it, but it's the truth. Because if there's one thing that I am, it's honest. I'm very honest. And yeah. So I just wanted to talk about that because I think that they do exist. And I don't want to be like, oh no, the girls are innocent. Girls could do no wrong. Because girls can do wrong. Girls did wrong in the community. Some girls with the POV accounts, you know who I'm talking about. But at the end of the day, I do just think that it's hard to be a girl interested in motorsport. It's hard. It's hard when people think that the reason why you're interested is because the drivers are attractive. It's hard when people don't take you seriously. It's hard like you feel like you have to prove yourself more than men. And it feels like you have to know more than men. You feel like you feel like you constantly have to be 2 steps ahead. And it's funny because I feel like that's kind of how it is in life. I know when I'm an athlete, so I'm an athlete, and I mentioned that in my first episode, but I'm a competitive athlete. I've been a competitive athlete since I was 9 years old. And so that's like 12 years, 13 years. I'm fucking terrible at math. But I think that's kind of how it is in athletics too, in terms of being an athlete, because I remember to get my coach's attention, and to get appreciated, I had to do double time. I had to do what the men, like what the boys at my club were doing. Plus, I had to work harder than them to get any type, like twice as hard to get any sort of recognition. And I think that's kind of how it is. And that's kind of how it is in motorsport, in the motorsport community. You have to, and I'm not saying you have to, because I think that like you shouldn't have to do that. And at the same time, I don't think that all men are like this. And I want to reiterate that. I don't think that all men are like this because they're not. There are some really nice men. And I'm not a man hater, guys. Please, I'm not a man hater. There are some very nice men. But there's also some really mean ones. And I think that they almost make us scared that we have to know more than we need to. And they almost don't make us feel accepted. But like, who the fuck cares? Because fuck them. And this is just a message to all of you guys. Like, you're allowed to not know everything. Nobody knows everything. And never feel ashamed. Never feel embarrassed. Never feel like you can't talk about your opinions. Don't let anybody try to like silence you. If you get a hate comment or if people tell you shit, literally just say shut the fuck up. Literally, you know what? This is my favorite thing. Guys like to talk about girls liking F1 drivers because they think they're hot. Why do guys like Margot Robbie? You ask a guy what their favorite actress is, who their favorite actress is, 9 times out of 10, they're going to tell you the person that they think is the most attractive. They're going to tell you the girl that they think is most attractive, not who's the best actress. Margot Robbie's a great actress, but most guys who tell you, oh yeah, my favorite actress is Margot Robbie, it's because she's hot as fuck. And guys are like, oh yeah, she's really hot. So why are they allowed to do that? And I'm like what? Like make it make sense. I think it's so hypocritical. Whatever. That pisses me off. But I like to bring up that argument. Like, why do you guys like Margot Robbie? Riddle me that. But yeah, I really didn't mean for this episode. I'm not hating. I want to reiterate so hard that I'm not hating on men, and it's not everybody. But I think I just want to kind of bring to light the reality of being a girl and the reality of being a fan as a girl. But on the other side, I do want to say there are also positives, and I don't want to be a negative Nelly. I'm not going to be a negative Nancy. Like, oh my god, it sucks out here. Being a girl is so hard. Fuck this. Like I'm not going to be complaining like that, even though I just did. But I want to bring up some positives because there are some positives about being a girl in the motorsport community. I think that the community itself, And the girls in the community are so caring. They're so nice. And I love being a girl. I love being a girl. I love being a girl in motorsport. I think that it's just so nice and wholesome and caring. And it's so fun to share my passion with other girls and other women. And it's so nice to bring each other up and build each other up and support each other. And I think women in motorsport are incredibly supportive. They're caring, and they're not going to hate on you for not knowing things. They want to help you. They want to help you succeed. They want to help you learn. And I love that. I love how supportive the women in motorsport community is. And I kind of just wanted to talk on that because there are some positives. And if you ever feel like you're scared or you feel judged for being a motorsport fan as a girl, don't feel like that. I know it's really hard sometimes and it feels lonely. That's the other thing, it feels lonely. There's not as many girls who are interested in motorsport as you might think. I know for me, in my school, I didn't know anybody. None of my friends like motorsport that are girls. And the two guys that I know who like motorsport were just trying to get into my pants. They just had crushes on me. And I was not about to be chatting with them about motorsport when they like, no, no, no. Yeah, no. I could literally be like, oh yeah, George Russell's gonna be world champion this year. And they'd be like, oh my god, so true, girl. Now let's they'd be like, oh my god, you're so right. Anyways, like, how's your bed looking? So yeah, like it is hard. It's hard because I feel like there's not a lot of us who are interested in motorsport. And it feels like there is on TikTok, but there's really not. And I've talked to so many people, and so many people have told me on TikTok, they've commented and said, like, I have no friends who like F1 as girls. None of their girlfriends like F1. Nobody that they know likes F1. It's isolating. And it sucks. It sucks. I remember I was lucky that when I first got into F1, I joined F1 Twitter right away. I joined straight away and I met some amazing girls on there and made friends for life. But in real life, it's hard. It's hard to kind of have all these opinions and have this passion and be so passionate about something and not be able to like talk about it and not be able to like express your opinions. Like a Grand Prix happens and I'm bottled up with emotion. That's why I have my TikTok. If I didn't have TikTok or anything or like this podcast, anything, I don't know what I would do. It's hard out here. I cannot like I would be bottled up with emotions. I tried to explain to my dad the situation between Yuki and Nick DeVries and Daniel Ricciardo when that whole thing happened, and he was so confused. He was not getting it. He was smiling and nodding, and I was just like, I was like enraged. Like I had so many emotions. So it's hard, and it sucks, and it can be very isolating. But I think I'm happy that there's more girls that are getting exposed to motorsport. And I think at the end of the day, you just have to remember that even if you don't know someone right now in real life, you can always find someone. And I don't want to be like, oh my God, find your BFF online because I'm not trying to like, don't get like trafficked. Like, don't talk to random people. Don't talk to strangers. No. I mean, like, obviously, you can make friends in a safe way online. I'm not telling you to like randomly DM some random person who looks sus, because some of you are young. But you can, there's always online. I'm scared to say that, but like Twitter is good, TikTok is good, but just know who you're talking to. Be very careful. I'm really not trying to be like a bad influence. Be careful who you talk to online, but that's how I met a lot of my friends. And I think at the end of the day, you just have to remember that you're not alone. You're not alone. There's so many girls who are interested in motorsport and who are becoming interested in motorsport. And it's not going to be as lonely as you think it is. I'm always here. My DMs are always open. I try to keep them open for literally everyone. I spend so much time just like responding to people. I love talking to people. My DMs are always open. So if you ever feel lonely in your motorsport passion, or if a Grand Prix happens and you have some emotions to let out or some thoughts and opinions, you can always talk to me about it. You can DM me on Instagram. You can DM me on TikTok. I never want anyone to feel lonely, and especially as a girl, it's really hard. It's isolating. It sucks. But there are good girls out there who like motorsport. There are so many girls out there who like motorsport, and you will find friends. You will find a community, and this is a community. We have a community, and yeah, I love this community a lot. It's brought me so many amazing people. It's brought me friends, and yeah, there's obviously some negatives. I touched on them. There's obviously negatives about being a girl in motorsport, and kind of being misunderstood sometimes and being scared to talk about your opinions and talk about the drivers' personalities, but it's life. And yeah, that's our community, and you kind of just have to live with it, deal with it. move on and make friends, talk to people, and yeah. But yeah, I guess that's kind of this episode. Just kind of my thoughts on being a girl in motorsport, the realities. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a good one to film, I guess. I'm gonna do another episode more about being a girl in motorsport. I mean, I don't know much about it, but kind of just my 2 cents on it. I think I kind of want to talk on that. So look out for that episode. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you want, you can leave a rating, I think, on my profile. And also, you can answer the question that's going to come up after the episode, asking how you liked it or your thoughts on it. So you could always answer that. Make sure to subscribe and follow the YouTube and Spotify for more. And I hope to see you in my next episode. And yeah, bye.